So I think we will begin now. So just a little reminder of the housekeeping rules. Just don't forget to mute your microphone while you are not speaking and enter your name, but I see that everyone is okay with that. So let's introduce the presentation today. So we will talk about the European Marine Board ECOP network, which is a part of EMB organization, and we established it with the Secretariat. So the idea is to gather people who work on the ocean science, so at different level of jobs and different sciences. And the idea is to bring a voice at EMB level and at national and European level to speak about our expectation, our expertise, etc. So we welcome today the two former ambassadors at the EMB who will present us the outcomes of the ECOP Network Forum we did last year in October. And the idea was to have the experience and the ideas of the ECOPs to strengthen our voice in the different level I just talked about. So Juliette, Aminian, Biquet, and Alfredo Garcia are the former two ambassadors at EMB. They were at EMB for 2 years, and they are now alumni. And they were really active in the EMB, and they were really important to bring this ECOP Network Forum from the scratch. So a big thank to them to let us enjoy this forum. I will let them present themselves for their professional part, like what are they doing and what are they going to do. And then they will talk about the forum and what we ended it with and the forum proceedings we just wrote. So Juliette and Alfredo, you can unmute yourselves, and I let you decide who will begin first, and then share the mic. Thank you.
Okay, everyone. I decided previously. Don't worry. So I'm going to share my screen. But I need that you finish share your screen, everyone. Perfect. Okay. All right. Okay. I am Alfredo Garcia de Vinuesa. I am a researcher in Spain in the Spanish Institute of Oceanography. I am ecologist by background, but now I am working also with mixing anthropology with marine science to include the human dimension in the management. I have been a young ambassador during 2 years, and now I am alumni. So today I'm going to explain with my colleague Juliette and Biquet this talk called Improving ECOPs Training, Connection, and Representativity, outcome from the EMB ECOP Forum in Santiago. Okay. First of all, I want to say you about us, who we are. What I said, we are outgoing young ambassadors. Now we are EMB alumni. We have ECOPs, mainly from the academic and research world. Every young ambassador was a ECOP, and we are in our PhD or postdoc stage. This is a good thing to try to connect with our peers across Europe and with with young people. And we have people especially enthusiastic to communicate at the European Marine Board and European level. It's very good to to work with people enthusiastic, because it's authentic pleasure to do it. About our task, we participate in European Marine Board activities, represent early careers and board meetings. We spread the word about the work of the European Marine Board by giving talks like it, or writing blogs, etc. One of the most important things that we do is looking for ways to connect ECOPs with the European Marine Board and the science policy interface. Now I want to explain a little bit how was my experience like young ambassador during these 2 years. It was a fantastic experience working with people like the people of the Secretariat of the European Marine Board with a high professional and personal level, and meet many people from science world, but also from policy world, and improve my skills. Was an incredible experience, and I encourage people to apply if you are interested in to be a young ambassador, because you can get involved in a large European marine science work, and in addition, your activities are funded. So it's a totally win-win business. So in 2025, in February, it's open a new call for ambassadors. Well, I want to focus in the previous task that I named, looking for ways to connect ECOPs with the European Marine Board and the science policy interface. Why this is very important for us? Okay, this is super important for us because to connect ECOPs with the European Marine Board and the policy science interface ensure the future of the ocean conservation, because ECOPs represent the ocean professional next generation, and they bring for us new perspective and fresh ideas. And the connection with young people across the world is necessary to raise awareness among them about the current and forthcoming issues affecting the ocean. So this is basic, and I think that one of the most important things for of the tasks of the young ambassador during our time in this role. So how have young ambassador worked to achieve this goal up to now? Well, this is one of the most beautiful things that I think that happened during our time as young ambassador, because we received the heritage of the previous young ambassador, and all these people like Liam, Alba, Alessandro, Natalia, Anjali, or Rebecca was working very hard to get to do reality this connection with the European board of the ECOPs, okay? And finally, they create our network, they call it the ECOP network, and we, well, our work was to ensure the continuity of this network, and after us, Riwan, Alex, and the next young ambassador will have this task. So I want to explain a little bit what is exactly the ECOP network. This is a network open to anyone who self-identifies as an early career ocean professional and has a demonstrable link to an European Marine Board member organization. The aim of the network is to link ECOPs from European Marine Board member organization and help them expand their network in Europe. Also help European Marine Board member ECOPs engage with and gain benefits from European Marine Board memberships. Provide a platform that allows European Marine Board member ECOPs to have a voice at the European Marine Board and a wider European marine science policy landscape level. And inform European Marine Board member ECOPs about how the European marine science policy landscapes operates. To maintain the network, we have had during these past years some activities, like for example this ECOP Wednesday, that is a Monday webinar when we have topic focused on European and international marine science policy interface, Even if you are interested, you can suggest speakers for this event, or you can be a speaker for us. Also, for example, we are very active in social media, and we do short introduction of network members on social media and European Marine Board website, highlighting their expertise and interest. This could be a good opportunity to give to know your work at European level. And also, we participate. If you are a member, you can participate in different another European Marine Board activities. But the thing was that these kind of activities until now were exclusively virtual. Okay, we thought that in order to engage and unify the network, in-person contact is totally necessary. And in this moment, we ask ourselves how we can create an event or a moment to contact in person with the people and to get involved and engage more the people and to unify and cohesion this network. And from this thought we create the first ECOP Network Forum. You can see here the ECOP's network, the ECOP's member participating in a Galician traditional dance during the forum. This was a very fun moment, very beautiful moment. But we didn't know how hard could be organize this kind of big event. So organizing the first ECOP forum for us was an enormous challenge, but the experience and the outcome proved that it's worth it, without doubt. We did it, linked with the Euroocean in October 2023. And with the help of the Secretariat of the European Marine Board, all the European Marine Board, because if without it, it was practically impossible. And also with the help of another institution like the Marine Institute, the SIC, and the was an incredible work for everyone. So now I'm going to give the floor to my colleague Juliette. She is going to explain you more about how was the forum and about the outcomes from the forum. So this is all for me. The floor is yours, Juliette. Go ahead.
Thanks a lot. Can you stop sharing your screen?
Yes.
Thank you. So hello, everyone. I'm Juliette Aminian Biquet. I'm a PhD student. I work on the politics of regulations in marine protected areas. But I will be taking you through what happened at the forum and what were the main outcomes, as Alfredo said. So first, we managed to get all these 38 beautiful ECOPs from 25 organizations that are members of the EMB from all across Europe. So that was already a big success, because it was a challenge to connect to ECOPs and to let them know that the EMB exists and that they can join this forum. So this is something that we celebrated, the scale of the network and the EMB. But we had much bigger goals for the forum. We first wanted to help all of these ECOPs that wanted to link their scientific work with policymaking by providing more tools to them to do that. And we also wanted, all together with these ECOPs, to think of ways to improve our engagement, our involvement in the science policy interfaces. So the forum was a great place to do that. First, because it was a place for us all to connect with and meet people that are from different disciplines, different levels of engagement with policymaking, and to share experiences, and that is really motivating. We also wanted it to be a place to learn and to get some training. So we had training sessions about the science policy landscape, that, telling about who are the actors, the institutions making the policies, and how are they doing that? What is the role of science in this? And how can we participate as ECOPs in this policy making, in changing the legal frameworks, etc. We also had a training session about communication and exercises like how can we turn scientific content into concrete policy briefs. And finally, we had a session for brainstorming to think of what are the main challenges we're facing now to engage with policymaking, and how can we overcome them? And how can we, at our scale, at the scale of the EMB ECOP network, how can we help with that? But I will not focus too much on what's happening in the EMB in the network, but we can talk about it afterwards if you'd like. So in terms of the challenges, well, there were no surprises. Funding is obviously an issue for all ECOPs and for all of us, actually. It is especially an issue for ECOPs, also because of the job insecurity that ECOPs said they're facing. Time is also a challenge for ECOPs because of the time scale of our positions. We're students, we're postdocs, short-term contracts, so it makes it really difficult for us to engage in projects, but also engage in building relationships with senior scientists or with politicians, for example. One important solution that ECOPs really highlighted was the importance of training. And they were really happy about the training sessions that we organized about the science and policy landscape in Europe, because it's so complex. There are so many layers of institutions, people, and we don't know what we need to know, or we don't know where to start. So we need training in all of that, but also training in communication. And these communication skills, they're super important for everything. It's not only about linking our work with policymaking. And training measures are probably, of all that we're going to talk about today, they're probably the easiest to implement. Then there were really two big issues that came out from our discussions, which are the problems in inclusions of ECOPs and connection of ECOPs. So in terms of connection, it's super important to have relationships with policymakers, scientists, etc., to be included, to be invited in projects, but also in meeting rooms, for example, so that we can have an impact. And building these connections really can take years. So the earlier we allow ECOPs to start building them, the better. So it's important to provide opportunities for ECOPs with events like Euroshen or other types of events, to invite them to join meetings when you're involved in a project, for example. Then the representativity and the inclusion of ECOPs in the science policy interface is a big issue. And ECOPs at the forum really highlighted the hierarchy problem that they're facing. Because we're often, as young and ECOPs, we're often perceived as inexperienced or with little skills and knowledge. I don't think I need to comment on that, but it can lead to disrespect and to limited inclusions of ECOPs in decision-making, in meetings, sometimes in our own labs. And all of these decisions, they impact us, they impact our work, so we should have a say in it. Inclusion, including ECOPs, means including them as professional, as scientists. So, inviting them as keynotes, but inviting them in projects, but not only ECOP-related things. It also includes, as I was just talking about, inviting them as actors of decision-makings for what's happening in our labs, in projects, etc. And to reach all of that, we really need to work together. Seniors, by doing some tiny or big things, can really help us, and we actually need your support. And as Anastasia, what great thinker Anastasia Lasnia said at the Euroshen when she was asked about something completely different, but to summarize what was needed in 3 words, she said collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. And I think it says it all. If I had to summarize, well, if we had, because that's what we did, summarize the outcomes of the forum and what is needed to be improved now in 3 words, that would be in training, connection, and inclusion. These 3 things should really be a priority for any organization that is working with ECOPs, is training ECOPs, etc. And actually, it is much bigger than linking ECOPs, like linking our work with our scientific work with policymaking. It's actually really representative of the challenges that early career researchers are facing in general. So if you want to read more about the forum outcomes and how we did it, you can find the forum proceedings here. We detail it, and we will share the link in the chat. And I really want to emphasize that a lot of that is already changing in the EMB, and it's also really a place where we were supported and where I felt really valued, and it was a safe place for me to go back to all of these places where I felt like I was looked down upon. So, and this really is happening because of the Secretariat, but also the ambassadors, of course, and all the work that they did and that we did, and the supportive delegates that really illustrates how useful and how kind and supportive senior scientists can be. So I'm going to go through some quick general points that can help you maybe in getting more engaged in these places, and we can go in detail a bit more during the discussion time. So first, about fundings. There are many grants that are available. For example, Euromarine has grants, especially for early careers in their projects, but you also have the Marie Skłodowska-Curie grants, and there are some trainings available. I'll share the link in the description, in the chat. And you have also Erasmus grants for projects. One thing I think is not used enough are the prizes. There are lots of prizes from foundations and other things for early careers, and there are not enough marine people applying. So actually, if you apply, you really have chances to get some money from that. Then in terms of connections, in Europe, we have now many networks that are trying to link to get early careers involved in policymaking, or to really link science with policymaking. So yeah, of course, the EMB ECOP network, but you also have the Global Youth Biodiversity Network. It's working at a global level for the Convention of Biological Diversity, but you have more and more European nodes being created. And for an example, this network, together with the Youth Environment Network, they worked a lot. They did a lot of lobbying for the restoration law at the European Parliament. So if that's the kind of thing you're into, you can reach out to them. All of these networks, they also provide a lot of trainings. Check out their web pages, their YouTube channels. You have training on legal framework, behind the scenes of negotiations, of international conferences, etc., or some training to improve your communication skills. And one thing I'd like to empathize is that it might be very obvious. All of these places, the science policy interfaces, they have been there long before us. And there have been many people, researchers, investigating that, how decisions were made, what role scientists and science played in all of that. And it's a discipline in science. It's called Science and Technology Studies. So I think it's really nice and to include that as part of your training to get some critical analysis of all of that. So I can, for example, suggest the KITIS research group in the Netherlands. And then for seniors, if we have seniors in the room, but I don't think we do, there are many super tiny things that you can help to improve our connection with policymaking, including just identifying us, reaching out and sharing all the invitations that you might get, or just sharing about events. Then there are many paths that already exist, although I really want to give your monthly reminder that we're really able of a lot of things and you can make it happen. If you have ideas of projects, just do it. You know, when we started thinking about the forum, it really looked like a reality far, far away. And I wasn't sure we were actually able to do it. And we did. So you can do it too. It'll be painful and long, but it'd be full of joy and it can really have a lot of impacts. In other paths that already exist, you have networks like the EMB or Eclipse, governments, they have initiatives within the ministries. For example, you have IPBES national focal points or fellows that can help you if you want to engage with IPBES. You have traineeships at the Commission, European Commission, and you have other career paths, for example, in embassies where you can work as a scientist. If you're interested in joining the UN Ocean Conference in 2025, and you're interested in how can this kind of events change anything for ECOPs, we made a contribution to the open call for ideas that they launched, and I think our title says it all. You can find it at this link. And I'd like to end this on maybe a more personal thought on engaging in science policy interfaces for ECOPs and in general. I mentioned the importance that I think is important of critical analysis. And so I wanted to share a quote that struck a chord in me. It was from an editor that actually rejected our paper, but it was the happiest rejection I've ever known, and it was really a nice review. And so, yeah, I wanted to quote their words. Some of the networks and interfaces that you mentioned may be designed to distract budding activists from real change. They provide opportunities for those involved to feel like we're involved in something with real change potential, only to discover, if we're lucky, that we're far removed from real change. And the institutions that have enabled us to participate at all have also disabled any real ability to change anything. And I think this also connects to broader themes that were brought up by ECOPs at the forum, really confronting our economic and democratic systems and our connection to nature. I think most of the science policy interfaces are really no places to challenge any of that, which doesn't mean that there are no places to do that. So I know that it might be a bit depressing to think like this, but I think it's actually really crucial to remember this so that we can prioritize. Because we're young, we have so much to do. I could be outside looking for bugs right now. But my take on this is really that it's crucial for us to really identify what our real objectives are, real and concrete objectives, and what are the most effective ways to reach them. In all of these science policy interfaces that I mentioned, what is actually a waste of our precious time, and which ones can we really use and make our own to reach our objectives? So on this picture, we were protesting for a ban against deep sea mining, and many of the ECOPs that you can see there were also involved or got involved after we protested in national delegations at the UN Ocean Conference 2022. And at the same conference, many countries joined a moratorium against deep sea mining in international waters. So I'm pretty sure that I will meet many of you at UNOC 2025. That's all for me. So you can find our network at all of these links, and I need to stop sharing so that I can see you. But we have some questions for you if you don't have any things that you want to brought up and discuss and react on everything we said. And if you want to reach out to Alfredo or to me, here are our email addresses. So Rerun, I'm giving you the floor back.
Thank you.